Welcome back. We're going to do a short product review, one we've already done, but I want to show you a couple things. We didn't really explain them too much. I still get a few questions about what these are because people see me working with them all the time. They're hair stackers. And I'm going to go through something. We've always had 4 sizes, extra large, large, medium, micro, or small. There's now a new addition, which is the big brother to the little brother that will fit in here, and I'll get to that in a second. But first I want to show you the basics of this thing because I'm not sure, I must not have done it well before. One thing right off the gate, right out of the gate, is that you can see these are all gold on black, except for this one's kind of yellow on black. It's anodization. Sometimes they don't come out perfect, but we're trying to get them pretty standardized. We have a lot of colors in these, but from the function end of it, basically you have a hole on the end, and that's telling you the size of this, how much hair you can get packed into these things, right? And so each one, they all have a different size hole in them in the end here, and everything's fine. So on this extra large, that one's function is for the people who like to stack massive amounts of hair. You'll see bass people do that, in particular the musky guys and girls both do this. And this is a massive amount of hair, right? And so and there's function to this too. So when you've got this hair, that's you got a lot of space to get, everybody talks about pencils. This is like a cigar. It's a lot of hair in there. And you've got an opening here which you cover with your thumb. And so you get the stack, and you can see you get a lot of hair. It's all stacked. Everything's fine, right? Does everybody want that here? Yeah. Okay. But that's a massive amount of hair to work with. One of the downsides to this, if you are not, and this is telling you not to get this if you don't work with a lot of hair. There's a lot of migration possibility down here. So when you cover that thumb up, if you weren't using a lot of hair, it can come down and slip around. Sometimes it doesn't stack as well, but if you're using, as you see, that was a giant chunk of hair, stacked it great, but that's what it's for. So that's your extra large. Now you come into your dungeon style, traditional style heads, and you take out this 2 or 3 pencils amount, and you put it in here, same thing. Now what you see immediately is the hole's about 25% smaller, right? And the other thing that you see is that this opening's significantly smaller. And so that allows me to put my thumb over the opening, the port, and stack, and I don't get nearly the potential for migration in that hair. It stays right at the bottom, and it doesn't move around, it doesn't slide out. And that's what, when you're trying to stack stuff, that's when it becomes problematic. So that is for the traditional, more like dungeon style, zoo cougar, whatever hair you're working, whatever style fly you're working with that you're doing hair with. So then we get to this medium one. This one is for this one's kind of the all-arounder for you'd be pushing it to do a stack the size of a dungeon, but anything size 8, 10, 12, traditional muddler style heads and things like that, absolutely perfect, right? Again, same thing. You get the smaller port, the smaller hole, you're not as much hair in it. It gives you a lot of control to do this, and so you get it out here and you get, and I miss it. I want to say something about that. The other thing about these, and I forgot to say that before. Ooh, I got a little craziness going here. So when you do that, the beauty of this stacker, and this is, by the way, this is I bought this company, but it's not mine. My buddy John Nicosia invented this thing. He's a great tire. He's from California, and I bought it, 10 years ago, I think. But the beauty of this one over any other stacker, period, is that when you put it in a regular tube stacker and you sit here and pound your table, you don't know what happened. I look down in there, I can see that. I can pull it out, I can look at it, I can go like this. Okay, yeah, that's where I want it. I mean, that's the beauty of this thing. You look down there, it's not where you want it. You look, boom, there it is. Okay? So that's fine for that size hair, bigger hair. And I've said this on lots and lots and lots of videos, that I can do a lot of hair, a lot of different size hairs in a lot of type of stackers. But when you get to short, fine deer hair, when you start talking about technical little mayflies, things in your caddis, things that have a small head, and they use a small amount of really fine deer hair. So I'm into the short, fine deer hair world, right? And I might get away. That's why I say this medium's kind of the all-arounder. And again, when I talk about that, the distance from the top of the opening to the bottom, if I put this hair in a big stacker, it's shorter than that. So when I went down there, it'd all fall to the bottom, right? It wouldn't be in the tube. Got enough hair floating around here. And so you take this one on the medium, and it's long enough that I can still get by with that, right? I can still cover that port. I can get it down there, and I can see I get a nice stack. I get to look at it before I do. So this is kind of an all-rounder. But let's just pretend that you predominantly tie size. I got so much hair floating around here. That you predominantly 16s or smaller. That's when the micro, and I've done a lot of videos with this micro stacker. And so you're going to take some short, fine deer hair, which I have enough floating around in here to make a blanket out of. I'm going to take this, the micro, and I'm put that in, and I don't care how short your hair is, you couldn't possibly work with hair shorter than that anyway. So that little tiny port, but the problem with this one, if it does have one, is that it's really hard to get a hold of. And I constantly get this thing from people saying, well, I got sausage hands, man. I can't reach it. I can't grab these little tiny things, and they get lost in my hand. So enter Big Brother. So what we did is, and I had the same, I don't have giant hands. And so I'm in here, but I still had trouble, and I dropped this thing quite frequently. So here comes Big Brother. Move these out of the way so you can just see this, because this is the new product. So again, all the virtues right there. I got to see the hair was stacked, but I'm going to set this aside just for a second. I want you to see something right here. I want to get it close. So right here, is that right where you want it? Right here you can see the ports are identical. The distance of the tube length, which is this part right here, the distance of the tube where it's going to slide down, are identical. All right, you can see that they're the same length. What I've done is they have the same porthole, everything's the same right there. They're the same distance, so I can work with hair short, it still will slide down. But what I've gained on this one, and I'm telling you, it's really good. It's better for me. I don't even use the little one anymore. Some people are going to like the little one, but same thing. Now I got something I can get a hold of. With this one, I fought it a little bit, and occasionally I'd knock it over. This one, all the same virtues. I can see the hair. It's right there. When I turn it sideways, you can see inside there. You can see if it's stacked. That's the difference between this and every other stacker. And it's perfect for all sizes of 16 and smaller hair. This is a really good piece of hair, right? But you can see it's absolutely perfect, and it was very easy to get a hold of. The other virtue to this thing is it doesn't roll around in your table. When it's in there, you're done. It doesn't roll off the table. So new product for this year in the series. I think you'll like it. So there they are, all of them in a row. Hope you like it. Hope it helps you out.